Hello everyone and welcome back to Subliminal Messaging, the channel where we analyze a film and measure it in wokeness. Today's film is Woman of the Hour, featuring Anna Kendrick, the guy from Arrested Development, and a number of fresh new faces. This film is actually based on a true story about this super creepy murderer in the 70s who liked to kill women for fun or choke them out only to resuscitate them and choke them again. He was a pretty terrible guy. I also found out that he actually did end up getting onto a dating show, which is pretty surprising and I think a pretty good supporting argument for Anna Kendrick's thesis, if we call it that, for this film. So let's dive into our 30-second synopsis. Imagine this. It's the 70s. Everyone's smoking, gnarly sideburns, and Cheryl, our aspiring actress, lands a gig on a dating show. But plot twist, her eligible bachelor is actually a serial killer with a passion for photogenic victims. Woman of the Hour flashes between Cheryl's nightmare of a love life, some super stupid suitors, and a string of very unfortunate solo photo shoots where the killer, far too fond of isolated areas and close-ups, takes down his victims with, let's just say, very hands-on techniques. In other words, it's like totally bogus, dude. Moving on to our character analysis. Starting with our main character, Cheryl, the hero and smarty pants of the film, constantly dodging creeps and awkward gigs. Rodney, the super creepy serial killer. And now for the dudes. First, there's the TV dudes who barely watch Cheryl's audition, grill her on her age, and try to persuade her to do a nude scene.
I'm sure they're fine.
Then there's dude number one, who isn't even smart enough to introduce himself.
Pleased to make your pleasure.
Dude number two, this overly sexual guy puts the creep in creepy.
I like things undressed.
And the dating show host. This guy's a total sexist.
She's got the body, so let's use it.
And terrible at his job. The mover dude, who abandoned our girl to move her new furniture all alone because she was only a few minutes late.
What?
And then there's the dudes in uniform, heartless as can be, telling our female characters to scram from park benches and public spaces. Not to mention the dumb cops who get fooled by our serial killer.
Sorry for the misunderstanding.
Because, well, men dumb, of course. And finally, we have the boyfriend. He's easily the most nuanced of all the male characters here. He genuinely seems like a decent guy.
Okay.
But he really stumbles when his girlfriend, a witness to the killer, tells him she recognizes the guy. She's 90% sure, and he replies,
But you're not positive.
that earns him a quick trip out of the car. He does redeem himself a little later though by bringing her flowers and helping her go to the police, so if any guy here is on the good list, it's him. And here's the victim roll call. First up, victim number one, pregnant, dumped, and just trying to survive when our killer decides to take her breath away, permanently. Victim number two, our quarter-stealing queen of the green with a sweet tooth for chocolate, but meets the killer who's got a whole different kind of addiction. Victim number three, the independent painter who only wanted help with her furniture, but ends up painting her whole apartment red instead. Victim number four, our perpetually scared guy who couldn't look more terrified if he tried. And then there's Laura, the witness who actually recognizes our killer, warns the cops, and yeah, they do nothing. Solid work, guys. And then there's this lady who doesn't really fit into any category, but delivers the most important line from the film, which is,
no matter what words they use, the question beneath the question remains the same. Which one of you will hurt me?
ah, such optimistic advice for a woman looking for love. On to the Woke Folks Show. Woman of the Hour is what I like to call a men bad film. And what's a men bad film, you ask? Well, if you ask this YouTube channel,
Everything with a dick is bad and will kill you. So stay away from dicks. Like every single dude in this movie is a huge piece of shit.
and after watching this film myself, I'm inclined to agree with that statement. Alright, so now we'll dive into scenes that paint the men in this film in a specific light, all under what I call the men bad umbrella. I found 8 distinct patterns in how men are portrayed, but we'll focus on the top 4 where these traits were either implied or made crystal clear that a character was either dumb, a sexist, a liar, or creepy. Ironically, Men Violent was only 5th on the list, despite the whole movie being a commentary on male violence. Anyway, for now we'll start with the top 4 recurring traits, beginning with Men Dumb. Exhibit A.
Hi, Cheryl. Pleased to make your pleasure. Pleasure to meet your.
Save that talk for the date.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
There we go.
Exhibit B.
What are they like?
They're idiots. All of them.
I don't know where they get them from.
They're under a rock.
Right?
Do you remember that one guy that we had on the show? He was beautiful. But I'm telling you, the IQ of a lug nut. It was really too bad.
And Exhibit C.
I didn't know I needed to be an astrologer to be on this show.
Do you mean an astronomer?
Is there a difference?
Do you want there to be?
No.
By the way, Einstein was a physicist, not an astronomer. Doesn't matter.
Are you gonna ask me a question?
I just asked you two, but sure. Bachelor number one, in the groundwork of the metaphysics of morals.
I don't...
I'm kidding. Bachelor number one, I'm just having fun with you.
Next up are the men liars moments. Now, I define men liars by a scene which shows a man attempting to appear like something he's not. So let's say he's attempting to appear respectful, but in actuality, he is abusive and violent. Exhibit A.
When you invite a girl out for dinner, what do you expect in return?
I guess that depends on the meal. Are we talking filet mignon or what? I'd like to think that she could at least provide the dessert.
Bachelor number three, what's the difference between a boy and a man?
A boy thinks that buying a woman dinner means she owes him something.
So this scene's interesting to me because dude number two is being overly sexual, obviously, but the serial killer is actually the dishonest one here because he's pretending to be this very respectful man when in reality he kills people for a living. Well, not for a living, but worse, I mean, he does it for enjoyment. Exhibit B.
What are girls for?
Yeah, that's right.
I guess I'd have to say that that's up to the girl.
It's a very good answer.
Funny how the only bachelor that was able to answer this question is also the only one that's murdering women on a regular basis. And now for Exhibit C.
Honey, I've been on this show since 1968, and I've seen more idiots flirting back and forth than I can count. The one thing I've learned is, no matter what words they use, the question beneath the question remains the same.
All right. What's the question?
Which one of you will hurt me? You just asked it clearer than most.
If this movie had a thesis, that line would be it. Next up are the men's sexist moments. Exhibit A.
I need to speak with someone on the dating game. Last year, a friend of mine was raped and murdered. I think that the guy that killed her is up on that stage right now, Bachelor number 3.
Someone will be with you shortly.
Who?
George Elliott, series producer. He'll be able to help you. Good luck.
Excuse me? I'm supposed to meet with someone named George Elliott. He's a producer. It's very important that I speak with him.
I doubt that very much.
Why?
Because I'm George Elliott. Let me guess. Security guard out front, he set this up, yeah?
A visibly frightened woman comes to a security guard, tells him that she recognizes a serial killer rapist. He decides not to take her seriously and plays a sick joke on her. That's pretty twisted in my book. Exhibit B.
What about her look? It's okay. It's horrible.
You're okay with nudity, right?
No. It's just not for me.
Oh, no, I'm sure they're fine.
Exhibit C.
Bachelor number 2, what are girls for?
Why does this feel like a trap?
I don't know. Why does it?
Well, because if I say girls are for whining and dining, then I sound like a jerk. And if I say they're for respecting or whatever, then I just sound like a schmuck looking to get laid.
Okay, Bachelor number 2, I think you answered my question.
And finally, we have our last category of moments, which is men creepy. Exhibit A, the hair touches.
Oh my God, sorry.
Is this the dress you're wearing?
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce. Yeah, can we get her in something just a little more flattering? I mean, she's got the body, so let's use it.
Exhibit B.
So you said you were a stewardess?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, I get to get groped by sweaty businessmen while putting things in the overhead, so.
Exhibit C, or dude number 2.
Hello. Maybe we could play a game of touch football. I'd be shirts, you'd be skins.
I don't know. That sounds awfully rough.
Rough and rowdy, that's the way I like it, babe. With the vinaigrette on the side, because I like things undressed. Too small. Seriously, anything under a C cup? Can't do it.
What if she's petite?
I'll let her blow me.
And one more since it's our number 1 theme. Exhibit D.
Hey, can you tell me your number?
I just gave it to you.
Yeah, no, I know. I just want to make sure I have the right one.
Right. Yeah, just let me see it and
Can't repeat it from memory?
Creepy! And that wraps up our top 4 themes. On to the verdict. So, is Woman of the Hour woke? Well, if you ask me, I'd say, yeah, it's kind of woke. Here's the thing. You can make a serial killer movie without making every single guy in the film dumb, creepy, sexist, or a liar. In my opinion, this movie really misses the nuance that would have made the male characters a whole lot more relatable. The best films out there all have this one quality in common. They all have believable characters. Characters with that intriguing gray area, where nobody's perfect. Everybody's a mixture of good and bad qualities. But with this film, that's simply not the case. But let's be fair, this film isn't entirely woke because the fears it outlines for women are totally valid. There are definitely men out there who will do and say whatever it takes to get into a woman's pants. And some of these men are definitely violent and treat women horribly. And some of these guys are extremely charming people that could fool just about anyone. But there's a fine line between exploring that small minority of terrible men and making it seem like all men fall into these terrible categories. I do also have to give Anna Kendrick some credit for adding some dimension to the boyfriend character, even though it goes against Netflix style. He's far from perfect, doubting his girlfriend's identification of the killer, for instance, but I like to think it was Anna Kendrick's decision to portray him as an overall compassionate guy. So I'm giving Woman of the Hour a kinda woke rating. It's grounded in the very real fears that women face on a daily basis, but it fails to remind us that not every single guy is 100% evil. That's my verdict. Anyway, thanks for watching Lemonheads, and I'll see you next time.